I just, I want people to think that about how many great players may have been left behind or felt alienated from their sport because of, something like their gender or their sexuality or their gender identity, their race, their socioeconomic status. Like how much better could the game be with greater inclusion? I don't see why people try and fight inclusion. Including people just makes, the talent pool greater and makes the game greater. So, why fight it?
Hey Jessica, how's it going?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm good. I'm excited to talk to you.
I'm excited
Just
to talk to you.
Jessica, why don't we start off by having you tell everyone who you are?
Well, I'm Jessica Platt. I'm the first openly trans woman to play professional hockey in North America. I've played for the Toronto Furies in the now defunct CWHL, and I played for GTA West in the Professional Women's Hockey Players Association.
Very cool. And such a historic, you know, achievement, accomplishment. I'm always in awe when I talk to you. How did Jessica get into hockey?
I got into hockey. I feel like it's, a typical Canadian kid story. I played hockey on our ice rink in the backyard with, the neighbor kids growing up. And then my parents, I really enjoyed playing hockey on the back rink. So my parents put me into hockey, and from there it really grew. I played house league my first year, and quickly coaches asked my dad if he had thought of me playing travel hockey. So I played travel hockey, and it all went from there.
What do you love about hockey?
What I love about hockey is how I feel when I'm out there playing. I love the game. I love how beautiful it can be when you just see everything happening on the ice in front of you. For me, everything was kind of easy when I was on the ice. Everything in my surrounding life just kind of melted away, and I could just focus on the game.
I love that. It's so true. And it can be such a peaceful place on the ice. And yet sometimes it's not as peaceful of a place, off the ice within the culture. And speaking of that, based off your intersections of identities, how could hockey be better for you?
Hockey could be better for me, as a queer person, as a woman. For female hockey players, the options, like it's not, you don't have nearly the options for playing after university or college. You either play in one of the professional leagues, which you basically have to have a full-time job, and then you play in these leagues kind of on the side, or you go overseas to play for a year or so, but you're not making millions, or you're just making enough to get by overseas. So the options, it's not really there. The training's not there. The facilities aren't there. You can't put everything into it if you have to have a 40-hour-a-week job as well as playing professionally.
Which isn't realistic or sustainable. Saying all that, what keeps you in the sport?
What keeps me in the sport is my love for the game. Honestly, hockey, I love playing. And when I had quit hockey for 7 or 8 years, and when I came back, to playing women's hockey, the community in that group was amazing. Everyone just supported each other. Everyone, didn't care if anyone was different. There was, a lot of LGBT representation in the locker room, but no one really cared. You were there, you were a hockey player, and that's what you were there to do. You were there to play hockey. So when I came out as transgender, no one really batted an eye. Everyone I played with was, accepting of me, and it was just kind of business as usual. The fans of that community were incredible and supported me. Everyone was amazing.
So wonderful to hear. And I think men's hockey and hockey culture as a whole can learn from those instances within women's hockey, the aspects that are progressive and inclusive from it, and take note and evolve. What gives you hope for queer people in sport?
What gives me hope for queer people in sports is seeing all the work that's being done by, people such as yourself, allies like Curtis, Gabriel, and just seeing what's happening and how people are so passionate to move it forward. Like this whole series you're doing right now, hearing other people's stories, hearing what people say and how passionate people are about, creating a more inclusive environment within sports and hockey in general.
And I gotta say, you give me hope. Your story, your resiliency, your candidness, and ability to share. It's tough to share, trauma and experiences, and the fact that you're so open about it, I think, will help so many people and give so many hope. And I'm you're a walking example of be the change you want to see in the world, and you're shifting culture, and I'm grateful to know you. And I think like, I can't say it enough, you give me hope. And is there anything else you'd like to add?
I just, I want people to think that about how many great players may have been left behind or felt alienated from their sport because of, something like their gender or their sexuality or their gender identity, their race, their socioeconomic status. Like how much better could the game be with greater inclusion? I don't see why people try and fight inclusion. Including people just makes, the talent pool greater and makes the game greater. So, why fight it? Sports brings people together, and hockey seems to want to drive people out. I know a lot of people I've spoken to have felt driven out of hockey because of who they are. And, I think hockey should be bringing people together instead of making them feel like they have to quit.
It's totally true. And it's funny because I'm a believer that most people are good, and that there's a lot of good hockey people, and it's almost like an ignorance of not recognizing what they're doing and the impact it's having. But they're hurting human beings, and it's hurting growth of the game. Like, and it could empower and inspire so many, and especially in Canada, and it's not, and it's sad.
Yeah.
Jessica, thank you so much for doing this. I can't wait for people to see this, and hopefully your message, your identity, your visibility continues to reach so many, and shift society, shift culture, and give kids hope, and somebody to look up to. So thank you.
Well, thanks for having me. It's always great to talk to you.